Hi everyone and welcome. A happy Sunday to all. Before we get into today's possibly controversial topic, I would like to give a shout out to some of my latest channel members, and they are Sarah Sue, Naya Pham, and Robert Ham. Thank you for joining. Your support is greatly appreciated. Okay, today I want to talk about the issue of politeness when it comes to dealing with narcissists. Is politeness keeping you in a narcissistic relationship? Is politeness allowing a narcissist to continue to push your boundaries? Well, first of all, let's look at what it means to be polite. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, being polite means behaving in a way that is socially correct and shows understanding of and care for other people's feelings. It is all about being considerate and putting others first, but there is a danger to that, especially when dealing with narcissists. Because narcissists look for every avenue that they can to use and abuse people, and all politeness is no exception. So today's video is all about how narcissists view all politeness and use it to their advantage. Politeness can be a foe or friend. We just have to master when to use it and not ever let it come before our instincts, because there are times we override our instincts or what our gut is telling us and choose to do the polite thing, which ends up getting us hurt. And politeness on our part can be overdone sometimes to our own detriment, where we realize that someone is not right or they are a user and a manipulator, but because we do not want to offend anyone, we just go along and allow them to continue to push our boundaries and not say no. Well, guess what? Narcissists love to take advantage of people who are too polite, and this can be their friends, people in their workplace, or any other organization that they are a part of. They will use the excuse of being too busy or incapable to get the polite person to not refuse their request. But too much of anything is not good, and people who are too polite are people who are afraid to tell the narcissist no or don't want to point out a flaw because they are scared to cause offense. The only thing that will happen to people like this is that the narcissist will keep manipulating them, pushing their boundaries, but give blanket general apologies ever so often to keep them off their scent. Politeness is all about keeping good relations or showing someone that you value and respect them. But we need to remember there is a time and a place for everything. And when it comes to ejecting a narcissist from your life or stopping someone from taking advantage of you, you have to put politeness on the back burner, where it is not about pleasing the other person anymore, but protecting yourself. Because if you are more concerned about being polite, the narcissist will perceive you as a pushover. They will keep pushing your boundaries, knowing you don't have the guts to tell them to stop. We should be able to tell people no. We should be able to tell someone that we have no interest in having a relationship with them. Why are we forced to entertain toxic people so that we do not appear rude or antisocial? I think politeness is misunderstood by some people, because when did not speaking up against injustice or liars become the polite thing to do? All we do is end up protecting and enabling abusers. I have had narcissists block me in quick time as soon as I call them out on their BS. I don't usually do it straight away, so they think they are deceiving and manipulating me. But when they try to take things too far or screw me or someone else over, that is when I retaliate. I basically let them know that I know what they are. I don't bother calling them narcissists. I just call them out on their behavior. Whether it was they were lying, cheating, or manipulating, I just speak the truth of the matter. People seem to underestimate how powerful it is to let a narcissist know that you see past that fake self they portray. But I make it clear in my words, body language, and expressions that I think everything coming out of their mouth is utter BS, and I am not buying it. Also, on top of that, depending on who the narcissist is, I will make it clear that I want to create a distance between us or cut back on the relationship. And because the narcissist wants to be the one calling the shots, they want to be the one to decide when a relationship ends, so they don't take this very well. What I have done is given them 2 sharp blows, which probably causes a narcissistic injury, but at the same time, they get the message that I don't stand for foolishness and I am not afraid to speak my mind. Covert narcissists do not like when people are direct with them or lack tactfulness, like I do, I guess. They love manipulating people who are trying hard to be polite and not step on anyone's toes. But when they realize you don't play that polite game, they clear out fast. And if you are lucky, they will block you. Of course, expect to be slandered and smeared, but I personally don't care. They are never close enough to me to affect my livelihood in any way, as I am very careful who I let in, which is something else narcissists do not like because they want you to care. They want you to be bothered and hurt by their attempts to ruin you. But that is why keeping toxic or narcissistic people at arm's length is the only way to stay ahead of the narcissist, which is something I shared in this video, showing different ways to go about it, because narcissists like to be all up in your business if you allow them, and that is a big mistake. But back to the point I was trying to make. If the covert narcissist realizes that someone is a straight talker, BS detector, the narcissist will avoid that person. We have to understand that narcissists are many things, but they are not stupid. And they know when it is time to separate from others and not waste their time and energy trying to get the interest of someone who is clearly not interested or someone who is a threat to their false identity. So we have to speak up against the narcissist or anyone who is trying to take advantage of us. I know when it comes to the workplace, it can be tricky, but a narcissistic boss would increase your workload tenfold, knowing you won't complain or object. They would have you doing their job for them with no extra pay or benefit. Narcissists are opportunists. They only know how to use and abuse people, but they can only do it if we let them. But narcissists with power can be extra cruel and make you regret speaking up. And I know that some people are in positions where they need that job, so have to put up with bosses like this. All I can say is that that is not a healthy position to be in, and it will take its toll on you. I personally believe that if you cannot improve the situation that you are in, it is best to get out of it. Narcissists do not appreciate or value people, they only pretend to, so they have no problem using you and sucking you dry. Just make sure you are not allowing politeness to keep you as a prisoner in these toxic situations. Because in our attempts of not appearing rude or not causing offense, all we do is end up keeping narcissistic people around a lot longer than they need to be. Do you think politeness is misunderstood or is being misused? Please share your thoughts on this topic below. I look forward to reading your comments. Many thanks for listening.